the clip. Tap or click to start watching the full episode now.
Part 6. Nature has flown the co-op. Our modern culture is image saturated. There is art, images everywhere. Society is losing to nature. It started in the 1950s when the television made its way into America's living room, and the sexy, alluring screen entrapped us into the fantasy. And then, sometime in the 1960s, an unknown madman uttered the famous words for the first time, "Sex sells." And so to Hollywood, the modern Rome, cinema is sexual showing, a pagan flaunting. Plot and dialogue are obsolete word baggage. Cinema, the most eye-intense of genres, has restored pagan antiquities, cultic exhibitionism. Spectacle is a pagan cult of the eye. This essay was published as part of Camille Paglia's book, Sexual Personae, in 1990. And in the 1990s, movies, Hollywood was like everything. Everyone wanted to be the movie stars, and we would watch shows like E! Entertainment and Behind the Music. And the fact that Paglia recognized this pictorial hero worship tendencies that we have going towards cinema, and now knowing where we are now with where digital and image media is just in our pockets, and we're just constantly scrolling. Cinema is the culmination of the obsessive, mechanistic male drive in Western culture. The movie projector is an Apollonian straight shooter, demonstrating the link between aggression and art. Every pictorial framing is a ritual limitation, a barred precinct. The rectangular movie screen is clearly patterned on the post-Renaissance framed painting, but all conceptualization is a framing. Paglia refers to the cinema as machine of the gods. Man was able to project something that seemed so real but wasn't, and through that he could defy the laws of nature. One way that this would be is through costuming and makeup, not to mention controlling of the plot and the hero's journey to have a struggle but then be triumphant in the end. All of that is Western civilization, Western cinema, Western media art of man trying to exert his power over nature. And remember that art is a suspension of reality. The restraints of nature do not exist in art, and that fantasy can be intoxifying. You can see this by the progression of media between the 1950s and the 1990s, when Paglia was writing this essay, how things just kept getting a little bit sexier. And by 1999, the sexy genie was out of her bottle. Media, art today is just constant. It's coming from everywhere, from the convenience of streaming to scrolling, of just a constant stimulation of different images, triggering emotion and urges within us as we mindlessly are scrolling or watching. All of this decadent display of sex and curiosity has captured us into an entranced state of the fantasy, of the decadence. There is no such thing as a mere image. Western culture is built on perceptual relations. From the soaring god projections of the ancient sky cult to the celebrity-inflating machinery of the American commercial promotion, Western identity has organized itself around charismatic sexual personae of hierarchical commands. Every god is an idol, literally an image. Today, the spectacle of the eye is not limited to the Hollywood screen. Every modern woman has become like a supermodel on her own phone. Paglia warns us or explains how there really is just no such thing as a mere image. This focus on the package, the sexual allure of things, not the reality of like what is underneath. But that focus on just the presentation of sex is now really what's in charge of our culture, because at the end of the day, like, sex sells, and these women are online. I'm not saying like they are like explicitly selling sex. That's not what I'm saying. But, you know, even just a dating profile, men too, like, you have to put together like, you know, professional grade images of like what you're putting forward, because like sex sells, figuratively, literally. And because sex sells, capitalism is a logical extension of art, as it allows artists to, you know, sell the works that they have created through this pain, their you know, their insides, their imagination, like, on this canvas. It allows them to sell it and maybe even make a living so that they could live off of this world of projection that they've created. But it also, then the person who buys it and can hang it on their wall, who maybe is not capable of painting like that, and that painting just really speaks to them and helps them feel some kind of control in this world of chaos. And so it's natural to want to sell art. It starts to get a little weird when the art that we're selling and the art that we're producing and the art that we're just, you know, putting out there at mass without a second thought, we're just recording ourselves and putting it on the internet in this cinematastic display of modern media that we have. Every time we're doing that, perhaps we are not doing it in our best interest.
If you enjoyed this clip, you're going to love the full episode. You may even like it more. Tap or click to watch now.